Lie number one, success will make you feel secure. This is a big one because we all want to be safe, right? I don't like to say it because I'm a man. Men don't really like to talk about that, right? So in our minds, we don't want to say we want to feel safe, but we all do. We don't want to feel like we're under threat. We don't want to be under duress. We don't want to feel like we're in danger. My son, he loves to wrestle. He loves to feel some force moving against him and him trying to conquer that force with his body. He just loves that. He lights up for it. We have this thing we call bust up, and he's always asking me, Dad, can we please play bust up? That's what he wants to do all the time. So he loves jujitsu, and he just loves how much contact there is in that. He loves rolling on the ground and falling on the ground and knocking something else on the ground and getting up and pulling something down to him on the ground. He loves that. He loves to wrestle, but he plays soccer. Why does he play soccer? He's not that good at it. He plays soccer because other boys play soccer. Because other boys at his school play soccer. He plays soccer. And the other boys at his school are the boys he's around all the time. Now he's only 7, so this is all, he's just still finding his way. But the other boys play soccer. That's what the other boys do. So that's what he thinks he's supposed to do. He thinks he's supposed to want to do that because the other boys do it. I realize he's only 7, but I was thinking about this, and you might hear that story and think, this is just childhood, right? It's just him being a child. But this is the seed of something deeper than that. And it plays out in every person's life, especially men. This is just the beginning of design abandonment for social survival. It's what happens when we trade our design to belong. And I'm keeping my eye on this with my son because over a lifetime, this kind of pattern of decision, if you don't catch it early, if you don't learn to question it, it becomes the man who wakes up at 37 years old with a 6-figure job and a wife and a house and a car and a family and no idea who he actually is. And my son, when he first started playing soccer, he wanted to score goals so bad. And it took him all season to do it. And when it finally happened, I was so excited for him. He was jumping up and down. He was so thrilled. And that lasted for about 10 minutes. After he scored that goal, he barely talked about soccer anymore. He didn't seem to care. Now, he still plays, but again, only because the other boys do. And I realized that's something we all do, right? We chase something, we hit, and then the thrill is gone. And when it doesn't land, we pivot, not to what's real, but what other people agree with, what other people approve of, wherever the crowd is. And over time, we lose the thread of who we are. We lose the stitching of what we were made to be. That's not just a kid thing. That's the first chapter in the story of how people disappear, of how men go away and never come back. They never become who they were actually made to be or do what they were built for. It's wild to see this mechanism at play in a 7-year-old child. The mechanism that takes a person from purpose to performance. And that's how it starts. We chase something we think will validate us. We feel safe in the crowd. And then we abandon what's real about us to become something other people can accept and deal with. And we abandon it because nobody else is there. And we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be by ourselves. You know what's paradoxically interesting about human beings? We all want to be unique. Our culture is obsessed with this idea of uniqueness. So we all want to be unique. Now, I've talked about this a lot in other content, but the thing that's so crazy about that is that unique usually means one. But if there's only one, that means there aren't others. And some people are so insecure about being who they are because they don't want to be alone. They're looking around for other people like them, but they're not there. They don't see them because they're not there, because we're all unique, because we're each unique. But you wonder how you've achieved and accomplished so much, but you still feel kind of, the accomplishments, the approval, they just feel empty. They just feel like fluff to you. It's because you were never designed to accomplish your identity. You certainly were never designed to achieve an identity. You were designed to be in your identity, to be your identity. Accomplishments, achievement, this is something you might do while you're here, but that's not what you were designed for. That's not what you were built to do. That's why the feeling fades so fast. That's why after a little while, you don't care. A little while after the milestone, the applause, the awards, the raise, it's over. It's gone. Why is that? Because if what you accomplished has nothing to do with what you were built for, you won't care. You can't contain joy in something that you were not designed to do. If it doesn't fit your design, you're going to feel empty. Here's what most people won't tell you. Accomplishment comes with a ceiling. In fact, the word accomplishment implies a ceiling. Think about it. If you accomplish something, you achieve something, you're talking about being some distance away from something else, right? And so you do whatever it takes to journey the distance to that thing. You accomplish it, you achieve it, but then what? Accomplishment always comes with a ceiling, a point where there's nowhere left to go except down. Or worse, you have to fight to stay where you are, which means the moment you arrive there, you become a slave to maintaining it, to keeping it, to staying there. And if you got there by being somebody you're not, I'm going to let you do the math on that. Now you have to keep being that person just to keep this spot you got to, just to stay there, just to keep everything you got on the way. It's the trade-off you made. You got to keep being that person just to hold on. And remember, we talked about wanting to feel safe. But when you hit that ceiling, when you're at the top, you get more visible. And the more visible you get, the less safe you feel. Because visibility isn't security. It's just exposure. You're exposed now. Everybody can see you. And if you stop being who you've been pretending to be for even a second, everybody's going to know you were a phony. That's why you can have everything and still feel like you're an intruder in your own life. The thing about that ceiling that's accomplishment and achievement is that you were designed to be an eternal being. That's God's original design for us. That's why anything that ends, any success with a finish line, and all of them have finish lines, they just feel like you just died. They'll all feel like death when you reach them. It's the end. There's nothing else there. There's nothing else beyond that. That's why no title, no salary, and no level of recognition can hold you, because those are all temporary. You were not designed to be. Because security does not come from accomplishment or achievement. It comes from being who God created you to be. And if you're not that, nothing else will be enough.